Welcome to Cruise Kibitz, where we give you all the advice that you didn't ask for.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Cruise Kibitz. My name is Siobhan, and I am from Parker's on the Go.
My name is Kiki, and I'm from Team Reese Travels.
And I'm Cheryl, also known as Sig Cruiser.
And today, guys, we have a very special episode for you. We want to break down our 3 experiences on a MSC cruise. Now, MSC is a hot topic right now because of so many different things that are happening. I mean, it is hot out there in those MSC streets, but we're going to gather it all in and we're going to give you our 3 experiences on how we felt our cruises on MSC went. So let's jump into it. Ladies, let's see here. The most recent sailing on MSC was you, Kiki. You want to kind of give us your breakdown on how your boarding was on the MSC ship?
Sure. The boarding process. So I was really concerned about boarding because I have seen some horror stories about boarding MSC, but my boarding process was actually very, very smooth. We got to the port, dropped our bags with the porter. We did all the, showing of the passports and the documents and all the things. And we were on the ship within like 10 minutes. So I can't complain about the boarding process at all. Now, the boarding day is a whole other story, but I think we gonna get to that a little later. But the boarding process was pretty good.
Absolutely. And just to clarify, which ship did you cruise?
So we sailed on the MSC Magnifica. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Kind of a smaller ship and sort of newer to the American market, but an MSC ship nevertheless.
All right. And what about you, Cheryl?
Well, I sailed the Magnifica as well, but I was on the first sailing.
Oh, okay.
Kiki's in the air, darling.
As far as boarding, now my boarding process was a little slower, and that was because it was the first sailing, because we had 2 instances where we were held up in line because of some issue. And I remember one of the issues being, as they were processing people, they discovered they had everything in another currency rather than U.S. currency. So they had to change all of their systems, to U.S. currency. So they hadn't done that yet. So we were standing in line, just waiting for them to, get this updated so we couldn't embark until then. So those were the only, hiccups, but it was almost excusable because it was like, okay, well, this is your first time sailing in the U.S. We know some things are going to come about that weren't expected. So, but it was okay. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we had the pleasure of sailing the MSC Seaside, and once again, amazing boarding. We were on the ship within 10 minutes. That's even with stopping to take pictures before we got on the ship. We had a nice person who sat down and gave us a lay of the land because we're expected to go to MSC's private island. All the spaces that we should go and visit, and go to the further side of the island because everybody don't want to take that walk, and that's where the most beautiful pictures and all that stuff is. So we did all that, and we were like, this is going to be a great sailing. And we got on, like he said, within the first 10 minutes we were on that ship. So we were like, this is going to be great. Not to mention we were 2 hours early for our boarding time, and we were still able to get on that ship that fast. So
nice.
Yeah, so as far as the boarding experience, I think MSC has that part down pat.
Yeah. Now, you boarded in Orlando when you went on MSC, right?
That's correct. Yes, we went in Orlando. Yep.
Gotcha. And you probably asked yourself the famous question, what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? What would be the one thing that would deter us? Because you're thinking to yourself, this has been great so far. Like, just getting on the ship is always the most nerve-wracking part, but they made it so comfortable. For me, it was a setup for a letdown. That's my personal experience, but we'll get into that. So let's talk about your experiences boarding the ship. What was your experience once you got on board the ship?
So once I got on board the ship, it was a little bit awkward because, like I said, this was the first sailing. I know I got there early, and apparently very early, because it was like when I got on the ship, first of all, there was nobody there to greet you. So it was like you didn't know where to go. So and I remember it was me and another couple, and we're all like, okay, where do we go from here? So we walked on the ship, and we saw an elevator. We're like, okay, let's just go to the elevator. And we was like, okay, let's just we picked the deck. We did pick the Lido deck. And I get up there and I get off, and there's nobody around. There's no music. There's nothing. So it's like crickets.
Oh, shit.
So it was, you know, like I said, it's the first sailing, and that's what I chalked it up to. But it was like we got on board. There was, you know, no welcoming, no nothing. You got up to the Lido deck. There's nothing going on. It's quiet, no music playing or anything. So it's like, okay, are we cruising or what? But so that was my first experience.
Okay.
So when we got on board, I felt like it was very chaotic. You know, the process of actually boarding was great, but once we got on board, I felt like we were shuffled around in a lot of different directions for a number of different reasons. And, you know, as soon as we got on board, we did have someone to greet us. So that was nice. And she's like, hey, come on. You know, the rooms are ready for you to go in and drop your stuff. You can't stay in them, but you can drop your things and then go ahead and get you some lunch. So we said, okay, well, we got all these carry-on bags. Let's go take our stuff to our room and drop it. But we got there, and our stateroom host was like, no, you can't drop nothing in here yet. I'm not.
Oh, no.
But he's like, just come back in 15 minutes and it'll be ready. So, okay, fine. We left. We went and got lunch. No issue there. We'll probably talk about food later, but we went and got lunch. And then I kind of had made this list of things that I knew I needed to do on embarkation day. One of them was register for the kids club. Well, as soon as we stepped on board, pretty much right after the lady greeted us to tell us we can go drop our bags, there was a table there in the main area of the ship, and like the atrium area. And there was a table there where you could register for kids club. And so I registered there. But then I found out I still needed to go to kids club and register. So I was kind of like, why we got to have two different registration tables? What is it?
What in the world?
Yeah. And then I knew that we needed my dining pass, didn't have like an assignment on it. I have no idea how we were able to get booked and not have a dining room assigned. But our room steward told us to go to the customer service desk and get a dining assignment. I went there. They said, no, we can't do it here. You got to go to the dining room. I went to the dining room. They weren't open yet. They said you got to come back at 6. So this is a lot of stuff like that. And it's day one. I'm ready to start my vacation. I don't want to run all over the ship doing all these little things. Could have been done already. But yeah, it was a busy day.
That was a lot. That was a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's crazy because I feel like for us, like, I think we had like a little thing once we got ready to get on board. Of course, you know, you had present your boarding pass, and, you know, it's just a natural thing. You know, Brandon and I, one of us will have all the boarding passes because the other one has the camera. And Brandon, I had both of our boarding passes, and I presented them. And then the person that was scanning would not give them back to me. Like, he made it his intention to not give me Brandon's boarding pass. And I didn't think anything else. I was like, okay. And I mean, you could hear me in the video. I even made a joke. I was like, ha, ha, ha. I guess he didn't want me to have it. And I wasn't thinking any further than that. And Brandon was like, that's weird. Like, obviously we're together. Like, it's not like I'm not going to give it back to you. Yeah. So it was like, okay, well, we're on the ship, you know. And we get on the ship, and it wasn't really chaotic, but there was a lot going on, if that makes sense. Yeah. So when you're on the ship, there's a kiosk right by the door, and there was a long line of people trying to put a card on file, which is like something definitely should probably be presented or fixed in the app where you can do that before you get on the ship. Yeah. So there was a line by the door, and then there was a line on the other side of the bar on the same deck. In the same area. So the lines almost met. But we were just like so enamored. We were like, oh my gosh, the ship is so beautiful. Like, they're playing this music. You know, we're like, woohoo, the first time I got a drink package. Like, we're in the moment of it, right? So we're not thinking because we're looking, we're like, what are they doing? Like, why is there a line already? We're just getting on the ship. There shouldn't be that bad of a line. And we get a little bit deeper in, and we go make our reservation. Well, they try to upsell you a lot. a lot for dinner reservations and all that stuff. We're just like, we just want to have the experience. But once we got on board, like our cabins weren't ready, so we had to wait a little while. We were able to go get lunch, and there was a bag drop area for that particular ship where if you did carry something on board, you can actually drop it and they will drop like your carry-on to your cabin. So I was like, this is amazing. Like, I've never seen that before. You can actually drop off your carry-on.
I've never seen that before on a ship.
Never seen that.
I never see that on MSC. So yeah,
right. But it's like, that's so innovative, because it's like people are just ready to start their vacation, and not being able to get into their cabin, it kind of makes them feel like they're not quite there yet. So giving them an option to drop your carry-on as well. Like, I was like, okay, this is going to be a great cruise. It's going to be a great start. And then we went to lunch. So Kiki.
Wait. Before we talk about lunch, I want to go back to something you said. Because you were talking about the line for the kiosks to set up your card and how you should be able to do that in the app, right? I watched all of y'all vlogs beforehand, so I was prepared to have to do that at the kiosk. The day before the cruise, I got an email notification saying I needed to go in the app and add my card to it. And so I was able to do that before I got on the ship. But there was a ton of people in line at those kiosks on the ship, so I guess not everybody was, but somehow I was invited to do that, and I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, because we had our card on file, and that's why I was thinking, I was like, well, why is this not a thing for everybody? And I was like, maybe, because in my mind I was like, maybe they're all putting cash on file, but I was like, that's also crazy. But then I think we heard our friend Raquel say that they hold like $500 on your credit card. They hold a large amount. So in my mind, I was like, yeah, I probably would put cash on the card, on the account too, because if you're going to hold that much money, and sometimes it takes like 7 to 10 business days to get your money back. And I would probably put cash on the account too. So in my mind, I was like, well, that makes sense. After I thought about it, I was like, okay, so they hold such a large amount, put cash on the account. But you're right. Yeah, the holding of the credit card is, I don't think everybody got that option.
And I weird though. Why? How you picking and choosing? Who can do it?
I did have a line experience, but it wasn't bad because, with MSC they give you they status match. So I had gold status match, but it wasn't showing on my card. They didn't give me a gold card. So in order to fix that, I had to go to customer service. And I had heard so much about, the customer service and the lines and everything, and I was so much dreading it. Yeah. But I went down, I don't know if it was like the time or something like that, but I went down and I stood in line, but it was very quick. So there was like really no issue. I got up to the front of the line and he looked at my card and he was like, yes, you should have a gold card. So this is a mistake. So let me give you a gold card. And, it was easy peasy. So
you were prepared to go to war.
Right.
I was like, let me.
Big was about to fight for her life.
Sure.
It made it so simple. Like, all of this sounds promising. Nobody up to this point really had a bad experience.
Right.
But at some point, once again, we get hungry. So let's talk about the food. Let's talk about the food, because that's the thing that online, the biggest complaint outside of customer service is the food, and that you just do not have an enjoyable experience on MSC food wise. So Cheryl, let's talk about your food experience.
Yum.
We knew you were gonna be the odd person now on this one.
Now let me explain.
Okay.
Because of my, food allergies, I can't do a lot of the the breads and the pastas and stuff like that. So I'm not looking for that. So to satisfy me, I just need protein, veggies, and rice. And I'm good as long as it's well seasoned. And for me, I found that like on the buffet. So each day it was like there was some type of, chicken, there was some type of, beef, some type of stir fry, some white rice, some seasoned vegetables. So, and it was a different variety each day, so I didn't have the same thing each time. So it was good. I went to the main dining room once. I didn't enjoy it because they sat me with a table full of people, and I'm an introvert. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So, but the food, my version of food. So my version of food is going to be different than yours. You know, it's gluten free. So I will say it was good. I remember. I have to go back and look at what I had, but I know it was like chicken, and I had I do remember having a dessert, a cake dessert that was good, you know, for gluten free. So you probably wouldn't like it, but it was good to me. So, I mean, for me, for MSC, I enjoyed the food. I enjoyed my food experience, but I know it's different than everybody else's. So
yeah, because I don't think RJ enjoyed his food experience too much.
Yeah, no, I can confirm our experience was definitely different than yours. We started off with lunch at the buffet on embarkation day, and I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was terrible. I got like some chicken. I think I got like a salad with a little bit of chicken in it too. And I tried the pizza. The pizza was good. RJ tried a hot dog, and when I tell you my baby's face that he made when he bit into that hot dog, I was just like, what is wrong here? And when somebody tastes something like a hot dog and tell you it's nasty, you don't need to come behind that and confirm. If you say it's nasty, I'm gonna take your word for it. It ain't good. But it seemed like, for me, and he is a picky child. Now, I will say that he is a picky child, but usually hot dogs, burgers, fries, pizza, that kind of stuff he's good with. But me, having that first meal on embarkation day at the buffet that was just kind of okay, it just continuously went downhill from there throughout the rest of the cruise. The buffet selections got worse to me. The main dining room, we really didn't particularly enjoy. We also were set with other people. We were set actually with 3 couples. So I'm here with my son who's 10 years old, and everybody else at the table was booed up. So that was a little awkward too. And it's the same, you know, general, the kind of conversation you have with people you never met before on a cruise. This is the first cruise. Where are you from? What are you doing? So I mean, that I didn't care for that seating situation, even though the people were very nice. Don't get me wrong, they were great. I didn't care for that situation, and the food options for the main dining, they just were not very tasty, not very well seasoned, and I just felt like it got worse and worse as the cruise went on, to the point the last day we were like, let's just try to bring some food back from Nassau, and they wouldn't even let me be great with that, so it just didn't work out at all.
Man, it's different because for you especially, you have a child with you that you got to try to keep from being hangry. It's bad enough having an adult that eats like a child, but you had a child that eats like a child. And you're trying to maintain some level of, okay, we're going to find you something to eat and it's going to be okay. But if the food is just not, I don't know if it's just because it's the cruise line is not based in the United States and the food is completely different and we're not used to, you know, having that on our palate, or it just was not good food. For us, the best thing we had the whole cruise was breakfast. Yeah, we had messed up pancakes too much. It's hard to mess up bacon. You can kind of mess up eggs, but they did pretty good with that.
They messed up potatoes, though. I will say that.
Yeah, this is true. Now, this is true. But you know what? We did not have a good food experience as well. Like, I'm kind of like you. My husband is a picky eater, and you can see boarding day, he went straight to the kids section and he ate off the kids section, like the chicken fingers and macaroni and cheese. And it's kind of hard, you know, you would think chicken fingers, right? You can't mess up chicken fingers. You can't mess up macaroni and cheese. Well, you can. A lot of people in regular life mess up macaroni and cheese, so I can't expect a cruise line to get it right. But like, those are things that you expect to be a little easier to manage. The pizza got you by if you needed to get by. You could get by on the pizza. But everything else, you know, I could pass on. We definitely don't want to talk about that bowl of goulash goo that I had on that last. I don't even know what that was.
Goulash goo.
Goulash goo. That's what I'm gonna call it, because that was not. It was supposed to be short rib. That was short rib. Yes, that was short rib. So that will go ahead, and if you guys are not familiar, please go back and check out our individual MSC vlogs so you can kind of see what we're talking about as far as our experiences are concerned. But yeah, no, that was a goulash goo, and I immediately got up from the table and went to the buffet and was like, I gotta salvage this night. So luckily for us, it was a 3-day, 2-night cruise, so we didn't have to suffer for too long.
Yeah, same here. I'm very thankful that it was only 3 days, because I am not sure what my son would have done after 3 days, more than 3 days of no food. That's kind of why I was trying to salvage that last day with those wings, and then they made us throw them away, so which just made them even angrier. So it was an interesting day.
So it sounds like, you know, moral of the story, overall, amongst the three of us, we probably give it an overall rating of 4 out of 5 for food. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
That's not what we're going to give that. No. We're not going to do that.
Oh, I'm too low?
I think we're going to give it the proper 1 out of 3 stars is what it's going to get.
Because that 4 was way too generous for me.
Very, very generous. The only thing that saved us is we did get to get off the ship in their private island, and they had burgers there, and that kind of saved us. So if it wasn't for that, then I don't know if we would have made it either.
Oh, Lord.
Now I know. This is the part that I don't really want to talk about, because, you know, I don't want to get you ladies dragged into the hate train that we were a part of. But we got to talk about it. We got to talk about the service that was received on MSC. And I know we all have 3 very different experiences, but if you ladies don't mind, just so I can get it out of the way and we get in on a happy note, let's do round robin. Let's go from worst to best. Let's do that.
I'm going to be fired. We know.
Worst to best. I will go ahead and say that our experience as far as the service was concerned was not great, and unfortunately we wanted to debunk some of the things that were being said about MSC. We could not do that. As far as being treated differently, and like we try to, you know, bunk it up to it being a different cruise line. Maybe they have different customs and experiences there. We felt overlooked on purpose. We feel like we had been overlooked on purpose, from trying to even get water to trying to get service at the bar. We did have one bartender that serviced us when we got on the ship at the Jungle Bar, and he was very nice and cordial. It was the last bit of good service that we received the whole time we were on that ship. Even down to the cabin steward almost suggesting that we didn't look for a remote control that was not in our room. Yeah, our service was not great. So we did not have a great experience as far as the service is concerned. We wanted to debunk the fact that people are saying online that MSC doesn't treat others well. We couldn't do that either. So we are definitely people of trying again, because we have so many friends who like MSC and so many friends who've had great experiences. We wanted to have that too, not only because it's a beautiful cruise line, but also because it's affordable. And we want to make sure that we can show people how to cruise affordably. But as far as our experience is concerned, we couldn't give it a positive review because of the service that we received. So I don't want to harp on that too long. You can definitely go back and watch the video if you're listening, or just check out what we're talking about specifically. But that is our service. But I think we'll kick it over to Kiki, and we could kind of get into what she experienced.
Sure. So I really hate that you had that experience, because it's so easy for people to like write it off because they didn't experience that. And I'm one that did not experience that, but I'm also not going to write off what you experienced.
Right.
Two things can be true at the same time.
Right. Yes.
But we actually had a pretty decent service experience, aside from what I already talked about with having to kind of run around a lot that first day. We never had service issues with any employees, other than they wouldn't let us like take food back to our room one night. We were trying to take a dessert back to our room at the main dining room, and they told us no. So I would like to believe that was a policy that they were sticking to for everybody. But that was the only thing I can really think of that I was kind of perturbed by something that a service worker did. I always felt like we were being served just like everybody else. I felt like we were getting the attention that we needed for issues that did come up. The only other thing was them having us run back and forth to try to get our dining situation. It seemed like it just seemed like nobody really knew the answer. It's just like, oh, this person said go there, but that person said go here, but this person said go there. And it's like, come on, y'all all work here. Can y'all collectively decide what I need to do so I don't spend all day on this? Yeah. That was my only like real issue with the service.
What about you, Cheryl?
Well, like I said, like Kiki said, rather, I hate that you had that experience. And I don't negate, like your experience. Everybody's experience is always different, and you can't invalidate somebody else's experience. If that's what they experience, that's what they experience.
Right.
My experience was a little bit different. Again, like I said, I was on the first sailing, so I don't know if it was like happy joy time, because I will say that most of the crew that I encountered, it was like they were excited about, sailing in U.S. waters, or sailing on this side. So even like, I don't know if you go back to even some of the lives that I did, some of the crew, anytime I had a camera on, they were like jumping in my camera. So they were just so excited. Anytime I went to an event, it was like I had crew coming up and trying to escort me to a seat. If it was an event with like a beverage being served, it's like I got 2 beverages here already. They're asking me, hey, do you want another? So it was like the service on my shop, even my room steward, just going above and beyond, to make sure that I had what I needed. Everybody, was nice. So it's like I can't think. And then, of course, the bartenders making me, special drinks and everything, just, offering up anything. So I had a great experience. So the staff was very, very nice. But again, like I said, I think there was a lot of excitement for them about, doing the first U.S. sailing, being on the ship for the first U.S. sailing. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think we will preface this as saying, also remember, these were 2 different ships, because Kiki and Cheryl have sailed on the same ship. We sailed on the Seaside, not saying that Seaside is just not a great ship. That was just our experience on that particular ship. That's why we're willing to try it again, because just because we had that experience on one sailing does not mean that it will duplicate on another one. So so we're definitely willing to try that again, hopefully with a different outcome, because I want to be on y'all's side of the fence. I want to have a good experience, and like, no cruise line is perfect. I've not had a perfect cruise on any cruise line, but unfortunately this has probably been the worst experience service wise, and the worst we've been treated on a cruise. And unfortunately, I hope nobody ever have to experience that, but that's just our story. So, and thank you guys for not debunking us.
Of course not.
So let's talk about entertainment or any other missed points that we may have forgotten about while we were having this discussion. What was your entertainment experience?
My entertainment experience was great. That is one thing that I was pretty shocked about. Like I said, this was a smaller ship. There's no water slides. There's, none of the big kind of entertainment standouts that larger ships have. We went on this. It's a cheap cruise. We got 3 days. We just gonna get away and relax, right? I was pleasantly surprised at the level of entertainment on this ship. They had a circus show that I thought was really, really good. The comedian was funny. The white party that they had outdoors was live. Lots of people. I mean, I just thought it was a really good entertainment vibe. The things that they had for kids to do, I thought were great. That what do you call it? Like 4D theater and bowling and the disco area. It shocked me. You don't expect that much availability of fun activities on a ship that's that small. And so that was something that I came out of it very pleased with.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that was a great experience for you, especially with RJ. How about you, Cheryl?
It sucked. I'm kidding. No, but I will say my experience for some of the entertainment on the same ship as Kiki was a little bit different. The comedian, I remember, not funny at all. I remember people walking out. And I didn't have that circus show. And I remember the shows that they had. I mean, it was like you could sit through them because you had nothing else to do, but they weren't like over the top, good or anything. I did enjoy, because I like live music. I did like some of the live music. But as the day went on, now I was on a 4-day cruise, but by day 3, I'm noticing, okay, this is the same songs that there's over and over. For a 4-day cruise, that's not good when you're getting like the same songs. I love the variety of music. I looked at, Kiki's white party. They had way more people. It was way more crowded. I enjoyed it. To me, it was like something different. That and the Sail Away, it was like different. But I wasn't disappointed about it. I was excited because it was different. To me, it's great to experience, different things. Mm-hmm. So I enjoyed it. I just kind of sat back and watched, but it made me feel like, okay, if I do this again, next time I'm going to jump in and be out there, So that was good. So to me, the entertainment was kind of a mix, some a little bit, okay, now I think this could be better. And maybe because, it was the first sailing, because it sounds like, Kiki's entertainment was a little bit better, so that maybe they, ramped up some things or something like that. But I would be willing to give it a try again just to see, how different the entertainment is. But yeah.
Yeah. I wish you could have saw the comedian, because I know you like comedy shows. Yeah. The comedian that we had, it was her first day on the ship. So I think the comedian right before us, I had been following him on social media, kind of excited, thinking, okay, well, cool. Well, he's going to be on the ship. And then they switched him out right before I got on. The one he had was hilarious. It was funny, yeah. And the circus show, I watched the circus show on the Celebration. It was better than the one on the Celebration.
Oh wow! Oh my goodness!
It was really, really good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And it's crazy how you can have totally different experience on the same ship. Really, yeah.
And I always 100% believe that a ship will take on the personality of the particular people that's selling on it. So that could have something to do with it too, because you could sell a week before me and we can have 2 completely different experiences, and it kind of shows like what you guys are saying. You guys sell the same ship at different times and the experience was not the same. So I don't know, ours was completely different. We had a mixed experience, because of course our Sail Away party, we really didn't get experience that because it rained, so they moved it inside, and then it was just kind of like it was in such a tight space. Everybody was kind of halfway doing stuff, and then their sun mascot was kind of creeping around and being a little creepy, so it was like, okay, that's weird. But then it picked up towards the end. We went to see a show. We wanted to see a show, but the show we got to see was the Michael Jackson show at the end of the cruise, the one that we were supposed to experience. Our dinner ran so long. Our dinner service ran so long that we missed that one. But overall, like you said, in the arcade, those experiences, we had a good time. Brandon did like the Formula One racing car experience. The white party on our ship was it was okay, but it was nothing like for us to stick out and hang around on. But outside of that, our entertainment was a mixed bag. It wasn't 100% good, it wasn't 100% bad. So yeah. So any missed points before we get ready to wrap up this episode of Why We Love versus Hate MSC?
You know what you got on Seaside that we didn't get on Magnifica that I missed?
What's that?
The pretty staircases that MSC is known for. They don't have that on the class of ship that Magnifica is in. And y'all know I love to dress up and take some pretty pictures. Yes. And I was looking at them stairs like, these marble, these ain't crystal.
These are not the same stairs. And we were so done that we didn't even take a picture on those stairs.
No, well, y'all had a rough time.
It was hard, and then we got for shit. We was like, we didn't even get a picture on the stairs. Like that's half of the appeal is like being on those stairs. That's kind of the draw. So yeah, we were kind of disappointed by that, but we'll give them another go. And hopefully we can all go and experience her and have the same great experience and opportunity that you guys had. Hopefully we can all do that together one day. So
I didn't even notice the stairs, so I'm not a stair person, so I just walked right up them and didn't even
kept it going.
Oh no, I didn't walk up on that. Nah. I looked at them on my way to the elevator.
Well, I think that will be a good time to go ahead and end this podcast. So, Cheryl, what do you say we do here?
Well, in honor of Beyonce, I would say, well, partner, like we are called the podcast.
Pew, pew, pew.
The St. Texas.
Ain't no hold up. All right, y'all. I think this is a good place to end before we get into MSC karaoke because it's not going to be. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Cruise Kibitz. And in the meantime, happy cruising.
Happy cruising.